What's up, everyone? It's time for another stream again, as always. Um, yeah, this was supposed to be last week, but not many people did show up. So this time I'm hoping for that. And tomorrow's gonna be a whole new different series of streams. Something that our friend Kuvo had done before in the past. Would you rather? And that will be tomorrow. So far, I'm actually done two those, and any of my friends are actually welcome to do their own. So far, Game Guy had made one of his two brothers, and 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 each one of those script, not gonna say Chris script, but each one will be around 90 or 80. It depends how many people want to do. So far, I have done two with 90, and the third one, it's about 32 or 33 in. So yeah, until until then, I'm actually curious to see how some of my friends actually will react to some of this. And for mine, would you rather are not involves anything that's too stupid, not too crazy, or anything that's would get you problem with, well, authorities. So there's mostly just, well, it could be in, how to say, daredevil type of questions. Like if you would do certain, say if someone would put you in a dare, if you would have to spend one night or 1 week in a haunted house or castle, or if you had to be in, you know, living neighbor with some uh, characters from a different show. So what you rather will be an interesting new streams for my channel. But that first will be about tomorrow. So this time is about MLOP quiz actually that I made a little bit a while back. And this is actually the first one in over, I think it's actually the first one we ever made was my, will be 7 Geisha streams. So this will be the first, well, the second in, well, total of the second, but this will be the first in over a year. And I'm not include the MLP, the movie Geisha streams, even as I only focus on the movie itself. But this one will focus on both G4 and G5. So until then, let's see who else has showed up and other than this Mr. Mysterious, or I will call Mr. X. Sup? Eating again, as always. Let me guess. Cheese, mac and cheese, steak. Well, until he finishes dinner or lunch. I wonder who else was going to show up in the Gato stream about MLP this time. Is your brother or brothers at home? Assuming not. I know at least two people that would have been very interested in joining these streams. Actually, three people. Um, One would have been Kovo, second would be Hayden, and the third definitely Crystal. Uh, so well, I can go for a moment see if anyone else or one of our friends are going to show up. Malachite, I don't know if he's gonna show up or not since he's not online. Dashi, for example, I don't know. Hayden, like last week when I was supposed to be doing this, um, he was, well, he weren't online. Well, he did join in, but we were probably doing something else at the time. We were like halfway through the stream, so it was no point for that. So, yeah, wonder if anyone else was gonna show up. I noticed that Cody Lane would have loved this. After all, he is a big fan of G4, and he actually has seen the recent of G5. uh, well, the G5 of the MLP. I can say this: G5 is make you mark is officially over, and now it's actually uh, but G5 isn't like over entirely. It's still continue on as with this web series Tell Your Tale. And here's in this most astonishment of the end of G5. Secrets of Starlight. Even this were actually revealed over, I think, maybe almost 2 or 3 months
Don't
ago.
spoil it. I haven't watched it yet.
No, I mean, it had been over like 2 or 3 months when that movie uh, title was announced it's going to be released by the end of the year. And there was a lot of assuming it's going to be about Starlight Glimmer, but it's nothing to that. It has nothing to do with that particular character. All I can say is it's a place, Starlight Ridge, and they have actually a whole new type of unicorns. They're called Aurora corns, and their horns, well, they look like ice. The funny thing about this type of unicorns, when they have fun, they literally create uh, northern lights. And there is this they were actually this is actually has a villain in it. Her name is Alora. Alora. I for When at the she's actually a talking animal. I thought that she was a flying jaguar, but it turned out she's not even a jaguar at all. She is actually a flying snow leopard, and her minion is Twitch, a small rabbit that can't even talk, but she can. Apparently, she has a brother, which wasn't seen, only spoken in a movie once. But she did make appearance in episode 68 of Tell Your Tale on the web series. And somehow recently, though, that Sunny can actually sense her, or at least hearing purring from from Alora. And when I saw that this supposed main villain followed after them in the movie to Equestria, I was like, how crazy is that? Their new main villain and the G5 just ended. Even though that Secret Starlight was supposed to be in Chapter 7, but the issues not that was changed during the production of the whole thing. And even about Spike though, Spike was well, there were a lot of questions about him. No one didn't know what happened to him even after G4. I mean, I did read that the dragons eventually returned back to Dragonlance or Scaly Island because Opaline wanted to steal their Dragonfire, like she did with the Sparky. So I assumed maybe Spike did stay behind in Equestria. But some of the backstory what he did mentioned was actually explained earlier in I believe it was chapter 4 when the main 5 or now main 6 had a sleepover. She Twilight said a story where Twilight was put this type of spell around Equestria so that would prevent Opaline to enter. And same thing actually happened when Spike explained the same thing, but more details. Opaline was banished from her original homeland from the start. Same place as um, Celestia and Luna was from. So basically, Spike explained the reasons why he was on the island of Rest of Dragons, and well, basically the dragons were put asleep after this powerful spell was put on. That was a way to keep them safe from Opaline. And each of the dragons, except for one, which is Spike, the others, Tumble, Lava, Jade, Luxo, and Luxe, her they are, her name was, each single one had like a cutie mark. But except for one small detail, those cutie marks are not like the ponies are. It was like it was like a piece of a crystal on their flanks which had a cutie mark symbol on it, and they can glow. But here's the funny part: each dragon had a special power. One of them actually, I think her name was Fountain. She could actually control water with her fire. And as we all know, Spike's ability, but he can when he breathed fire upon a scroll, it would end up being uh, well, when it's like Celestia's castle. And here was the most that was that didn't make sense. Um, After Opaline was defeated, Spike uses fire. Spike uses fire to summon the other main 5. But the funny thing is about it, he needed to use his fire. Someone had to use type of thing to send them to Spike. Because when Celestia wrote something and sent it to him, he would cough up this scroll and he had to use his fire in order to send it back to Celestia and vice versa. But Spike, he just had to stare at the ground and breathe the fire, and they were just sitting there. And according to the dragons, there is a mythical um, dragon power, transformation fire, which Sparky has. And according to the laws of the dragons, that power or that fire was just a myth. And I can definitely say this: it is not the same voice actor for Spike in as a G4. And it is not. It's much deeper. I was really looking forward to see that he would explain more about his life during his by the end of G4 to beginning of G5. Like if you know if he ended up with Rarity in the end, but he never said it. But it doesn't mean that he wouldn't be mentioned later on, because I do believe Spike will return in a web series of Tell Your Tale. After all, Son of Dragons did make an appearance in that series before Chapter 6 was even released. So I do believe Spike will return in a web series as well. But it's hard to tell right now, though. Having this new Alora as the main character, the new main villain, and she's looking for some. called a star for something called Nova Star, which is now in the hands of the main six. That star is the only way to open the portal between Equestria and the other world where those new type of unicorns lives. And when Alora did see the main six, when she saw Sunny in her alicorn form, she immediately recognized her as an alicorn. I was like, that's surprising. Apparently, I mean, I don't expecting. I mean, she has never even been to Equestria, so how would she even be known that that's she is an alicorn? Unless, unless that they have been traveling, unless the other alicorns like Celestia and Luna have been to this place. But it's hard to tell. If they had been there, they would have been mentioned in like books or any documents about it, but it's hard to tell. But there was one particular character that I really had hoped that would have been seen in by the end of this chapter 6, Discord, which is still alive, but it doesn't mean that he will not return in the web series. So far, he only in comics. Well, since no one else is going to show up.
We don't know that. Maybe they will.
Well, Hayden isn't online. Lord, no idea. Cody, no idea. Um,
I mean, let's be real with each other. Hayden would probably just leave to do Fortnite again.
Probably, but he isn't even online on Discord right now. Well, I could see on this on Facebook if Cody Lane is online, since I don't know if he actually has Discord. I mean, since
Maybe. I
it had
mean,
been a yeah, I mean it had been a while since we did a quest of Emerald P, since the last one was over a year ago. We have mainly done all about Pokemon's Star Wars and other things, but I would like to do another with a MLP. But since most of our friends are even online, I mean, I know that Malachite usually is uh, available on Saturdays since he has his game night with his family and his family friend who is a Navy veteran. So, I mean, there's one of the people that we can immediately roll out as will ever show up, which is Kovu. I mean, we hadn't even seen him in like months. I mean, I know that he's still alive because he do in fact post some videos on his channel from time to time, but otherwise, no word at all. I just wonder what is happening there.
mm,
Um, I could maybe ask the twin brothers if they were interested.
yeah, you can give it a shot and a half.
Well, that's taken care of. Figod is well, she is usually not wanted to join in. Come on, you. Sometimes his computer is a little slow. Hmm. I mean, Kubo is someone we don't expecting, and Retro is a person that we really, even if he would show up, well, we weren't not expecting him to stay around for so long. Since for most part, that most time that he do show up, he usually don't stay that much for a long time. Usually for only a few minutes before leaving. So
Mm.
So otherwise, how have you been?
I've been doing good. How about you be doing?
Uh, can't complain. Not much usual, except I did finish off another story on the Christmas list. That will be see here. Come on. That would have been the third story, and currently working on this. Gonna start on the fourth. This is gonna take a while. Uh, I start to wonder if I even be able to pull off all the 14 stories before even December 1st. That's gonna be unless I decide to post all the stories on Christmas Eve altogether. Though there is a limit how many videos you can upload at once. It's about, I believe, 10 or 11 videos at once at a time. Kulolin was online about 15 minutes ago, so he might show up. Who else? Well, Dash is actually online, so you can ask him.
I mean, he's on the big DM, so
Yeah, but he's offline on there. But it's not a guarantee that he's gonna answer back on that one.
let's see right now.
Well, Cody's online, but don't expect him to show up. I mean, I always want to look. Yeah, I always wanted to do another Gangel stream, but
Oops.
I just want to take part of it, or at least offer among our friends. But Crystal hasn't even been part of those in a while now, and Kubo hasn't even been in it either. So
I mean, she did join in last time at least, which was pretty nice to see her again. But
well, unless I mean, Crystal didn't much hear
Mhm.
from us. She couldn't even much hear either of us, and while she was in a stream,
Well,
some
it's still
odd.
nice that she was here.
True. I mean, I have asked now a few people, but so far no answer. And on Discord, not at all.
Just give him a few minutes.
Mm.
Might be doing something right now. I don't know.
Huh. Prince Chaos apparently here. That's
Why do I have a deleted user on here?
well, he is a part of the DM, but a Chaos show up, that's rare. I mean, he's almost never in the streams.
Oh, I mean, I had a deleted user on my phone. I don't know why it was there.
What's up?
I'm gonna try something.
Not
stupid.
much playing Hogwarts Legacy.
All right.
Just wanted to pop in, say hi.
Hi, Mr. Moron. So, how was your guys' Thanksgiving, by the way, in China?
It was okay.
That is it. I just wanted to pop in and say hello.
That's cool.
How was y'all's Thanksgiving?
I don't
Good.
I don't even celebrate it.
Ah,
Yeah, it's not a big holiday in my country.
Oh, bye, Prince.
Well, there is one person we haven't
Oh.
seen like ever, which is Deanna for one another. Well, Dash said that he will definitely join in. So I gave it a link.
Yippee-ki-yay, it only took almost 30 minutes for someone else to join. I was gonna grab the D20. I was gonna go up against it.
Well,
Luck for
apparently
skill, but I
Chaos is
guess-
back.
Yeah, he's back.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button.
You use your phone edition, not you. That doesn't answer my question. That does actually answer my question. Your
What?
Phone edition sucks.
Yeah, I'm using the website.
Eesh, you poor soul. I feel so bad for you. No
Get
one
a
should
room,
be.
you Get a room,
I
you
would get a
two.
room, but I don't think I could fit this guy in it. I don't know. I'm just being so random right now while we wait for Dashy to show up.
Mhm.
Well, he hasn't even seen the link yet, so
Was me showing
I
up a
wonder-
big surprise?
yeah. I wonder what Mr. Cody, the dark butt, is doing right now.
I have a guess, but I'm not gonna say it.
He's probably talking to his lady or just watching some anime like Dragon Ball. I don't know. I haven't really much watched Dragon Ball myself. I've seen a few scenes from the live action movie of Dragon Ball, but I don't tell you.
You actually watched that disgrace of a movie?
Dragon Balls, the movie, as I only saw a few scenes from it, and based on that, it was not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. It is literally the worst adaptation of Dragon Ball known to man.
Yeah, I am not much a fan of the Dragon Balls. Like the first time I saw it as a VHS was wow, over 10 years ago, I believe. So yeah, but there is one movie
Look, I just took a fucking
can't.
gamble.
There's one movie I kind of want to look. Five Nights at Freddy, the first movie they made, and they might do more within a few years.
Well, with everything going the way it is, I'm hoping that they don't fucking mess with Dragon Ball.
I mean, I wasn't sure if there's gonna be another live action Dragon Ball, but who knows? Considering that Netflix is gonna release their first season of Avatar Aang as a live action series, since they released a trailer of that one.
The map is enchanted to help you find your way. This will be incredibly
And
helpful.
as they also wanted to release another
Meanwhile,
series,
Dylan.
another series called Has-Been Hotel on Prime next year, as the first season at least. But they also mentioned in the trailer of that release, they actually going to be a second season.
Able to master within these walls.
So I'm actually looking forward to see what's going to happen in that series. I mean, I have seen the first pilot episode and countless of comic dumps of other people's works behind. I have seen that they actually even released a few clips of at least one clip of what's going to happen in that series of Has-Been Hotel, where one is where Lucifer have a singing scene, and one of them he encounters Alistair, the radio demon, the first time. And I can say this: it's not going to be the same voice actors from the pilot episode as from the new series. Not at all. It could be complete different people. Well, for most of them. So, how's the weather over there? Rain?
Cold,
Snow?
chilly, just cold.
You live on the East Coast or Midwest?
Now what?
Do you live on the East Coast or Midwest?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Ah, that is around the West Coast. Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We're Midwest.
And Oklahoma is, well, usually do get a lot of cold temperatures, unlike California or Florida. Unless you want to move to the Antarctica.
Oh no, I don't like. I don't want to go to Antarctica. I already have a nephew.
What does that have to do with Antarctica?
Because well, not Antarctica. He lives in Alaska.
But he said Antarctica, not Alaska.
Yeah, I know. I messed up. Okay, give me a few years. Kind of, not my full self here.
Well, I prefer rather live in Alaska than in Antarctica. So, I wonder how they will be like to be living in Alaska, knowing is this if you want to live in the middle in Alaskan Triangle, there is this place called the Alaskan Triangle where thousands of people have vanished for almost every year. They estimate around, I believe, 3 or 5,000 people vanish in the triangle every single year. And there have been increase of sightings of UFOs and Bigfoots and other mythical beings there. There is actually one thing that's very strange. Alaska has the most plane crashes in the rest of the entire United States. An average, more than average. There is one plane that was lost. I believe it was in the 1950s or 1960s. This big Douglas class plane with around 50 people on board, and it just gone. It was searched for months, for weeks, but they never found the plane. They never found any traces of the wreckage anywhere. It just like poof, just vanished midair. Of course, there are a lot of abandoned cities or settlements in Alaska also for the past several hundred years. I mean, like gold rush towns can be old. There were gold just depleted and all they abandoned it.
I should look like a fucking evil wizard.
You can probably to be the next Wizard of Oz.
Nah, and playing Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
I actually
So,
heard it's gonna.
if anything, I'll
Yeah,
be the next Voldemort.
well, I actually heard that there were talks about doing a Harry Potter as a TV series. but I don't know if it's gonna be like uh, about the same characters or different ones. I have no idea.
Believe it or not, Hogwarts Legacy is actually it's in the past instead of the actual timeline of Harry Potter.
Hmm. Have you guys seen or even heard of Wednesday, the series?
I've heard of it. I've thought about watching it, but
Yeah, I hadn't even seen it myself, but I've heard about it. I mean, it's based on Wednesday Adams from the family Adams family, and one of her new friends in that series is actually a werewolf, and she even encounters, well, an ancestor of hers, at least a spirit of hers ancestor, who looks like almost like identical to her. I do believe they were even talking about the second season of the series. I wonder if that can actually be seen on Netflix by now. Hmm. Started wondering if I should just quit and cancel this engagement stream entirely, since they have over in half an hour and no one else had even showed up in either chaos. But I mean, Dashi said that he was going on.
Chaos, do you want to join in the game show stream?
not tonight, fellas.
Yeah, I figured I'd ask.
I'm kind of, and then I got a lot going on.
Do you want to watch me die 1,000 times in Chaos Edition instead? I will open that game right now.
I might just I might just end out altogether.
Come on now. I've already got the stream set up and everything. I might as well do something.
Well,
But hey, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll talk to y'all later.
right. See ya.
Right, that wasn't long.
Well, Dashi said that on Facebook that he tried to click on the link multiple times and it didn't direct into the stream at all. So he tried on Discord, but he is on Discord. But so far, I haven't seen a sign of him even show up, and I'm kind of getting out of the mood for anything else.
Hold on. Everybody, hold on. I think it might not work on that one, but it might work on the other one. Hold on. I've got an idea. If Discord would work right, that would be great.
Never mind.
I gotta. It might not work on that, but it might work on. There it is. Damn. I tried getting Dashy in here, but
Yeah, but I'm canceling
it's
it.
not. Oh well. Well, guess we're just gonna have a regular old stream, I guess.
Mm. Maybe just an hour or so.
Like an hour plus, or just an hour?
Just
you're
around
on-
an hour.
All right. I guess we can just talk about whatever then. Don't really know what to talk about though.
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, my cousins are back. Excellent. Good. Because, that's just the greatest thing to have an add on to. Why not? Ay, ay, ay. Did somebody Discord? I don't even know. Hmm. What's the same beauty? Oh. I don't even know. My brain hurts.
Well, I'll be glad
Your
if
brain
you
hurts
visited.
too. Or
I'll be glad it actually hurts and that isn't like, I don't know, brain freeze.
true. My foot hurts too, actually. I don't know what's going on right now. My body
I never even had
would be weird.
Yeah. Personally, I never even had a brain freeze myself before. At all.
Trust me, you want to keep it that way. Brain freezes suck.
It's like you'd be getting quite a big headache. I don't know. Based on what I've seen from it.
That's pretty much what it is, yeah. I think you can get them easier when it's like the fall and the winter, but I'm not sure about that. Dylan told me that, but I'm not sure if he's right or not. He's like, oh yeah, if it's the winter and or fall and it's really cold and stuff, and you go outside and you drink something cold, then it's easier to get a brain freeze, which I guess common knowledge really, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The colder outside, the cold drink you have, or cold ice cream makes sense.
Who goes out in the winter? It goes to an ice cream shop and just says, "Yeah, I'm gonna take this freezing cold treat on this freezing cold day." Makes sense to me.
I probably would.
I wouldn't. Lois might though. Who knows? I don't know. Sucks that we couldn't do the game show though.
Yeah, but there's something. And I don't want to even do the Would You Rather since there's not that many people here, so it's not the fun of just only one person to show up.
Well, technically, there's always, well, not really always, but there's gonna at least, if we did do the Would You Rather, there'd be at least two people, you and me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if if I want to know if we were count the person actually doing it, if it's only the
Well,
person reading him.
I mean, for the game show streams, it makes sense for you not to include the person that made it, but for the would you rather's, I think the person that wrote them should, because then you can have their opinion on why they think they have the answers or whatever. Because would you rather doesn't have
Mm,
right answers; it's just opinions.
yeah, that makes sense though, but I don't know.
I mean, you're right; it's not as fun with only two people, but well, at least with those, we'll at least don't have the person and then whoever joins in.
Yeah, I mean, I really was worried looking forward to do it is the game show stream since the last time we were trying to do it, it didn't work. I mean, most people didn't even showed up at all. And if this continue, I don't know if I will continue to do this the game show stream so often. Maybe I will only do it once a month or something.
I mean, everyone else might just be busy right now. I mean, to be fair, here's the thing. Today's the day after Thanksgiving. So everyone's probably like cleaning out their fridges of the turkey left over and like getting rid of their Thanksgiving decorations that they put them up and stuff like that. So
Maybe so. Even though Figos, she didn't have Thanksgiving dinner at home.
yeah, but
She went
I mean,
out. Her,
for example, we did. We didn't
well,
really
I mean,
clean up though, but I mean,
yeah, but even though that she didn't because well, her mom wasn't much in for cooking, and since her dad passed away for a few years ago, so then they usually just going out. Same thing as for Christmas. They usually go out for eating, but they haven't even been able to do that since COVID started last for past 3 4 years. Makes sense. A lot of business wasn't allowed for any people to just show up. Even McDonald's wasn't even allowed to have any big crowds, and only fruit, dry fruit was only allowed, and it makes sense. I mean, considering a lot of people have been suffering from that. I mean, during the first year of COVID, there was also known as the, as many people call it, the toilet paper war, referring as how people just bunkering up toilet paper and other uh, canned food or all types of things, believing that they will survive just based on that. But it was just really stupid. Honestly, though, you know, COVID might have been pretty much bad for all type of people around the world, but there were, you know, always some conflict of uh conflicting of how the perception all this. Like some people like, oh yeah, COVID it doesn't even exist. It's just complete bullshit. And like media, um, governmental media, is just propaganda will to all that. But do you think the government would even go so far to make up a plague or the pandemic in order to control this population? No. Considering at least one of the most things here, like U.S. has around
well,
300. I mean, North Korea
Trump
may
might.
does. Well, yeah. Well, what would it gain from it? If the wars in okay,
Well, Trump
if
isn't really that smart. So
but
if
okay, yeah, but if Trump did that, if Trump lied to the media or the public, the whole public about there's this supposed global pandemic that's going on or national or nationwide pandemic, and everyone had to stay indoors. And if there were some scientists and other official or governmental officials out there, and if they learn about this and they later find out the truth, there were no such pandemic that existed. And how do you think the public will find out if someone did told that the president lied, and if the people demanded to know why he made such a lie, he will say that's fake news, or that that person is not even real, wasn't telling another lie. is that that Trump is the one that's telling the truth, and there's people who spoke against him are the liars. But if the people demand, and if they and what people start to demand from CDAC uh, for that, if they demand from CDC for having to reveal anything, I mean, it would be so crazy for that. It wouldn't. It wouldn't even give much. I mean, the particular leader wouldn't even been very much popular. And eventually, Trump, then, if it was Trump or any other person who made this type of statement that the pandemic was real, but turned it was no pandemic in the nation or even the world. And if he made up such causing that he would eventually causing riots and chaos in the whole country. Do you think anyone would, even if it turned out he was fake and that he made it for, just for fun of it or something, and even he could be arrested for it? I really doubt it.
Oh, jeez. I mean, isn't he literally in jail for lying right now? Well, not in jail, but
Uh,
being tried for lying
um,
right now.
well, I mean, it's possible. I really haven't followed much on the news recently. I
Honestly,
mean,
neither have I. It's just a bunch of
I mean,
toxicity I don't want to deal with. But
last I heard that he was in his trial in New York was mostly because of the um after he doing this the rape of this young lady back in late 90s and some other bribes and other
they paid her to like keep quiet, so that's not a
yeah
lie, but it's like technically a
but
lie. Anyway,
well yeah but she did win against him, she did win.
oh good.
And but here's the thing, if there was actually thanks to New York for all this, because before New York made this statement she wouldn't have been able to sue him because there was a limitation of what happened. And when that happened, well, let's say when New York State decided to make this extension for another 10 or 20 years or for life, Trump was then Trump was actually sued for raping this young lady in the mid to late 90s. And he was actually found guilty on that, and he paid like $5 million. But according to like his lawyer was going to appeal to have that overturned. And I don't know if that actually happened. I don't know. But another thing about Trump, though, that he supposed saying that those boxes that was found in his
Yeah,
private
thing is
Florida.
too. I mean, it's like I feel like Trump is way too egotistical to feel empathy at all.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
guy. I mean, let's just be honest with each other real quick. Trump's ego is about as big as his big fat ass.
uh, maybe. I mean, another thing is like Trump did. Um, he took over 50 plus boxes to his Florida home, which contained governmental documents that wasn't even permitted to leave a government building. Some of the documents contained information about United States nuclear arsenal, which in if that hand came in the wrong hands, it would have been very bad for the United States. I don't know if this it actually contained the like location of where they were hiding or had those nuclear missiles placed around the United States, like which main bases that was storing those bombs or where they were actually been stored in the underground silos or anything. I don't know if it's like that, and it would have been insane if that actually contained that, if those documents contained that type of information. And and even when Trump said that those documents was not such things, and there was actually FBI's director who actually permitted to have FBI to raid his home and had those boxes taken. He claimed that those boxes contained just clothes. I mean, how many clothes did Trump have in the White House? If there were 50 boxes or 50 plus boxes, how much clothes would he even have? I mean, I really doubt that the okay, first of all, there are more than one bedroom in the White House. I know there is a few of those, and but despite that, this is depending on how big each of those closets are in the White House. But considering of all that, I really doubt this. But and even Trump made a statement that FBI made this because that they were fake news, that they didn't have the right to make this raid at his home. But this was after he turned. That this was after he was well left as a president, and he makes us even after he lost the election, he made a lot of racket, like a lot of accusations to Biden for rigging the whole system. I don't know if that was even true though. I mean, at least Biden, Trump actually did demanded, I believe it was Georgia, um, to recount those votes, and they did. And it was the exact same number of votes for Biden as the first time they counted. And after that, he had 2 more weeks on him to demand another recount, which he took. And it still was the same number of votes for Biden in that part election. And here's surprising enough, at least I know at least of Georgia, Arizona, Philadelphia, and a fourth state was demanded by Trump and brought them to Supreme Court. He literally pulled 4 U.S. states to Supreme Court, and and each one of them was not even put for trial. The Supreme Court dismissed each single one of them, and later Trump even tried to put other states in for Supreme Court for the same thing. But the Supreme Court dismissed every single case, no matter what he tried. And then after this U.S. storming of Capitol building, where a number of people died, including a police officer, apparently Trump was apparently aware of this supposed to happen. I don't if that's true or not. I don't know. But there's one news that I did read about him last year. This was during his final year as a president. Each president before him has always been to the sites of Paris to pay a visit, to pay respect to those soldiers that fought in the Second World War, to those that had fallen, American soldiers, but he refused. And according to one of his staff at the time from in the White House, who actually told the media about this, it's because he didn't want to visit the site of fallen soldiers, which he called as losers. How dared he just saying those soldiers who fought not only for United States safety, freedom, security, and also for the world's safety, and for freedom, and for fallen soldiers as they fought and died for the country, calling them for losers. But here's the thing though. What if one of those soldiers was actually related to him and he said all that the soldiers are losers, but the one who in his family was complete hero? That is absolute ridiculous. Even after all this came out, he put a statement that was a fake news. He never said it. Another thing about Trump, though, turns out that Trump is direct related to the Heinz company. He is actually related to the Heinz family that makes the Heinz ketchup. Another thing about this, Trump, he published a book some years ago about saying that his family had Swedish um, descent, but that was complete BS because it was his father who told him about that, and he believed it and published that in his book. But some years later, turned out he learned the truth. It wasn't Swedish; it was German from the German town Karlstadt. And here is the funny part: his last name in German means either trumpet or drum. I was like, okay, lying about one thing in a book about his supposed ancestry is one thing, but okay, okay, first of all, I don't blame Trump for lying about his supposed Swedish ancestry because he was lying upon by his own father. So in a sense, he wasn't aware that was a fake news or not. And Trump is not the first president that was not much. I believe he's the first president that really has it much for politics. One other, Ronald Reagan. He was an actor before he became a president. And Biden, though, well, let's say he had at least a number of decades of experience when it comes to politics. I believe he was 30 years of veteran as senator for Delaware. So at least he had more grasp of how the politics works. So I thought, after learning that he won the election and that I read more about his background, that he has more years experience when it comes to politics, like being a senator. So it's like, okay, at least that he has the basic understanding how the politics works. After all, Barack Obama, he was a senator before he became a president. So I thought, okay, at least those two presidents have something in common. They were senator for a number of years, so they at least were in some politics experience. And Biden was actually very popular during the first time, but lately it's not so good at all. They were actually been he had actually been given a nickname, Sleepy Joe, and but that is more like people actually been using this AI voice program that you can do using either Biden, Trump's, or Obama's voices, among other people. One channel called Pokemon Presidents, they actually doing that, and they have all the presidents' voices. And well, basically, it's the he is called Sleepy Joe, and Trump is called Orange because of his tan skin or tan face or all that. I mean, what can you do? And I later learned that the wall that Trump was building, it was never completed during his time as the president, but apparently Biden chosen to continue the wall. I was like, okay, because when I first heard about Trump's wall that's going to be built, it's of course before he actually built it, he gave a few companies like a sample how to present their ideas of how the walls are supposed to be built. Okay, I mean, in that perspective, I can understand before he actually built the wall, then that he wanted to have several options of which one to choose from to be the standard model for the wall. I mean, it makes sense though. I mean, like if you go into the store, if you want to be in buy new kitchen like cabins, table, counters, all that, it's a basically the same thing from that. So it makes sense. But when I literally heard the actual cost to build the wall, $250 billion, it is an insane number of money. And Trump tried to do pull all kinds of ways that had some more money pulled into his wall. Like he tried to take half of Pentagon's yearly budget, which is not good, which he has eventually failed on. Then he tried to declare national emergency funding to the wall, but failed. And at least I can understand that why wanted to build the wall. I mean, it's for one perspective that he wanted to lower the increase of immigrants and, of course, smuggling of drugs and all that. I mean, it makes sense. And if at least one of those perspectives, they're trying to lower as much the increase of drugs transport over the borders, it makes sense from that part. But of course, people will always find another way to smuggle in it. But still, and but the most insane part of when they come to the wall, he said United States is building it, but Mexico will stand for the cost, meaning that they had to pay for it. Really? Trump expecting Mexico to stand for the cost of the pain while the Americans build the wall? Uh-uh. Uh-uh. It's no happening. I mean, it's like imagine Trump was going to build another wall along the border between U.S. and Canada. Like, we build it, Canada, you pay for it. I mean, that would have been the most insane of all. Seriously. I mean, Trump had done so much insanity. I mean, like early in his presidency, he declared 7 nations of which had Islamic religion in it as forbidden to even set their foot in their traveling from their countries to the U.S. I was like, what the? Are you serious? You know, it will eventually backfire on his that. Especially country. I mean, how would you felt if you were a leader from an Islamic country and you learned your country was on the list that your citizens wasn't even allowed to enter in America? How would you felt?
Hmm?
How would you felt if you were a leader um, from an Islamic country, learning that your citizens weren't allowed to enter America? How would you felt?
I mean, I'd probably be pretty upset.
Personally, I would have been outraged. It's like speaking against one country's religion. And there were at least a few people that from Sweden was affected by this. One that was a journalist which had a double citizenship between Swedish and Yemen, which were in fact one of those countries that was affected by this list. This journalist was even allowed to enter the United States because this journalist was actually there to receive a reward for being a journalist, but since wasn't even allowed to enter. And the second person that I know of, she wasn't even allowed in because she was born in Iran, which were also one of the countries on the list. But here's the thing, she was born in Iran, yes, but has she been living there for most of her life? No. She was actually born there and adopted by a Swedish couple when she was just a baby. So basically, she had been living her whole life in Sweden. She had been to the US once when she was younger, and when she wanted to go back there for just verification, she was to find out that she wasn't allowed because that on her passport it mentioned her hometown was the actual the capital city of Iran. That mention of the capital on the Iran's capital city on this woman's passport, which not wouldn't allow her to go to the U.S. It was just crazy, despite that she'd been living most of her entire life in Sweden. It didn't make no sense. I did read one other article. A woman was she wanted to go to the U.S. for vacation, but she wasn't even allowed. In fact, she wasn't even allowed to even go on the plane of all that. And I don't know for any remember exactly reason if she was born in one of those countries or something. I don't know, but it was just the most outrageous decision. It could have been having a very bad um, side effect. Could have been a very could have this decision to not allowing citizens from those countries would have been backfired big time because some of the countries could have been a good friends, could have been made a huge um, financial support to the US. Think about it. I mean, some of those countries may have a lot of business that worked together within some companies in the US between those countries. And if that happened, those if the workers would have been from those countries and were in the US and went back and they want to go back to the US and they weren't even allowed. So here's another main question. What if an American born in America but had parents, or if this person was born in one of those countries and was later but moved to the US long time before all this happened and grew up in the US and decided to go back to his parents' homeland for just vacation and then decided to go back. And this was around the time of when this decision was made. So the question is, will this person would even been allowed to go back if despite being living in and growing up in US for so many years and being a lawful citizen, I would have been amazed that they didn't even allow the person to even do so. Okay, okay, just imagine this. What if, okay, technically this wouldn't work since they would be against the law. But for example, if if there was some if there were your country did have a president that was born in one of those countries and then moved to the US and eventually become the president, which is technically not possible since you have to be born in the US but being a president, but assuming if that was possible. And and if that person goes back to his home country and want to go back to the US, but here's the thing. Here's the two possibilities for what happened. What if this actually traveled with Air Force One? So that might be a possibility that this person would be allowed to go back. But if this president traveled to the home country as a tourist and traveled back as a tourist, so the question is, would he would have been allowed back? Almost don't know. Unless that they can prove that you're already in fact in the US president. But I don't know. I mean, Trump had done so much insanity in during his time. I mean, including that he couldn't start another nuclear world war. Seriously, when he literally couldn't start that one, I would have been so. I have no words. I mean, for example, when he did during Obama's time as a president, he had literally removed North Korea from the list of a list of countries that support terrorism. But when Trump came into power, he put the North Korea back on the list and respond when North Korea found that out. They retaliated. They responded back with negativity and started developing new long-range missiles, ballistic missiles that could reach any any American territory like Guam, Hawaii, and including the mainland. First part of the maybe just around the west coast or the east coast, but then later developing so they would reach anywhere in the U.S., including Midwest, your home state, including Fiona's and Malachi's home state, even for Dash's home state. And the fact is, it's so crazy that he nearly could start a nuclear war, but eventually he managed to stop it from even happening. But still, how would Trump even be so insane? He could have literally started a nuclear world war when he what he did. It's just insane. Another thing when he was did was the most insanity. This Obamacare, for example, Obama put it in as an initiative to help millions of Americans that may not even have the same health insurance. And Obama, he was happy for it to be done. But when Trump came to as the president, he would just simply want to remove it. I was like, what the? Are you insane? Knowing how this care system is helping millions of Americans. And those millions may not even have any other insurance of any kind. So if the Obamacare just vanished, and those millions of people that had this type of system, this type of care, and what if they just simply poof gone? Then what? How would they be able to pay their insurance? Like if someone had actually been in treatment for something, like say cancer or maybe something, and suddenly they show up at the hospital like, oh yeah, sorry, your Obamacare card doesn't even work anymore. They have removed it, and the treatment can cost say I know 50,000 or perhaps more or less, and don't even have a for that. And without the treatment, the person just simply might die. And who would be put to blame on that? Well, Trump, because that treatment could have saved millions, thousands of other people. I don't know what Trump even did. Another thing is that what's crazy about him. Other presidents always show their taxes declarations, but simply he refused. I was like, what the? But one of the things about him, okay, this is not like anything insanity or Trump did, but he's the first president that I know of that actually declined to have a president's salary because the president also has a salary each year, but he refused to be able to take it. So, in that perspective, from that part, I was really surprised that he actually just didn't want it. So, in that, I mean, I'm not even mad at that part. I didn't even know that a president actually has a salary. So, and that he wanted to just simply didn't want to have it, decline it. I mean, anyone has. I mean, even if Roy or Dylan heard that part, I think that they would actually agreed. I mean, that was not like a bad thing what he would do. It's just,
Hmm?
do you think Dylan and Roy would agree that if I'd mentioned to them that Trump had this president's salary, but he declined to have it? Like when I say that that he did that, and because and that is not one, and this is wouldn't be count as one of those stupid or insane things he did, because I was surprised that the president actually has a salary and getting paid, and Trump is the only president that I know of actually declined it. He didn't want to take the payment. So in that part is When that happened, it was nothing dumb or stupid that he did. So, I mean, after all, he used to claim that he didn't want to be paid as a president. I mean, from that part, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, yeah, but Dylan probably would think it's interesting. Roy, well, we both know he'd probably make a joke out of it.
Sure, more likely. But the thing is, when he became president, he wasn't actually allowed for any of his other um, billions of resources from his own organization. And if Trump would have done something, or any of the presidents would have done something, especially him, if he would have done something so bad, like so bad, like behind being put behind bars for over 50 or 60 years or maybe more, so bad, and he decides to leave the country, and there is countries in the world that don't even have any, that can't turn over uh, any U.S. citizens back to America, because there are some countries. If he had, let's say, if he had escaped, to, like say, a country in Europe, he would have, he would have definitely would have been turned back there. But if he want to turn to one of those countries that doesn't even have any exchange with US, well, unfortunately, it wouldn't be much they get done. But I know at least one story that did actually happen. This happened around, I believe it was 1950s or 1960s, where a former Nazi survived in Argentina, and this man actually, I think it was either late 40s and early 50s, I believe it was. Anyways, he was, hang on, let me see, whatever. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, here we go. Um, he was captured in 1960. This man was named Adolf Eichmann, and he was not just a simple Nazi party member. He was one of the bad ones. I want to say maybe not bad as Hitler, but pretty bad. Um, um, he was tried for convicted for war crimes. Let's see what else was known as. Um, I think this he had a nickname. Um, I don't know, but anyways, he was captured. The Mossad, the Israel's secret service, traveled to Argentina, found him, captured him, took him back to Israel for his crimes against the Jewish people, and they literally hanged him. They literally hanged him for his crimes. And that's it's hard. It's yeah, I cannot even imagine it's like, but still, considering what he did was absolute worst. Some of the Nazis were even called as a angel of death. Excuse here. Nazi Angel of Death. Excuse here. That was Joseph Mengele. Um, but basically he was also very bad. There is one of the Germans, Erwin Rommel. Rommel. He had another nickname, Desert Fox. All this because that he had a lot of fighting campaigns in the desert in North Africa. So that was he was given the name Desert Fox. You know, reading in this stories are it's horrifying to know what these people did against normal civilians at the time. And to find out some of the things that most people probably don't know about the final solution and the concentration camps. Even though the fact the news was spread even came to England just before the war ended, the news actually spread so far that up to Europe. But most people didn't believe it did stores of concentration camps where thousands or millions of people were killed, being killed almost every single day. It's true though. Most people didn't believe in these stories. When the Germans started believing and started to know that they were losing the war, they started to literally dismantle most of those camps and turning those land that were used into disguising as a normal farmlands, like building farmhouses, barns, and even cropland. It's insane. And having people disguised as farmers, and it's of course it was real. But you probably heard of Auschwitz, have you?
Hmm?
Have you heard of Auschwitz?
Nope.
That was one of the concentration camps in Germany, in Poland. Here's one the most disturbing part of the Auschwitz. This happened years after World War II. An artist traveled to Auschwitz. Here was the most disturbing part. He took the ashes from some of the people that died and been burned there, took their ashes and turned that into art. He literally painted with that ashes as paint for art. I'm not joking. It actually happened. It's disturbing to knowing people that some of the even some survivors could have friends or family among those ashes. It's it's just disturbing. And even someone trying to steal the sign above the entrance to Auschwitz. I cannot even imagine this like though. But Americans during the just during the World War II literally did something similar in US. Well, except for killing people, but they imprisoned a large number of people, mostly based on Asian descent, like Chinese, Japanese, or any of Asian descent. They were put in that camp, despite if they were born in a country. There were families. They could have been kids, elderly, teenagers, young adults, you name it. A large number of Asian people was put in those camps in the U.S. because the government was at least afraid that one of those people could have been a spy This was just before. I do believe this was even before the bombs over Japan was dropped. This wasn't like just 10,000 of people. There was like over 100,000 people in a huge camp, and they were just that. But if you go back even further, like say 1800s, um, a lot of Chinese moved to America to part of the land of the freedom, opportunities like that. But here's the thing: what I learned: if a Chinese would have been attacked or brutally attacked or even been sexual assaulted by a white American, they were actually not even allowed to even report that to any of the authorities at all because they weren't even considered as American citizens. I was like, what? Are you insane? I just like, I just, I was, well, I was, I mean, I was beyond horrifying. Well, it lasted for
Hmm.
an hour and a half, and I doubted that Malachi even show up. So
I mean, it threw him the link anyway, but
well, I mean, I removed that in on Discord. So
yeah, but I just copied it and plopped them in the private messaging or whatever it's called. So
mm.
it's like, oh, that sounds different. I have no idea.
So what else to talk about? I have no idea.
Neither do I. I don't really know. All I know is that it's 4:44 right now at my time, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, 10:44 here.
I gotta think about it later. Yeah, I've got. I don't know what we should talk about. I mean, anything going on with you or?
Not really. Just bored.
Yeah, I can get that, I guess. Ah, it's spectacular. Yeah, I got nothing. Okay, let's see here. I DM'd Malachi the link. I DM'd basically everybody else. I even DM'd Polarizer. Although I don't know if he's gonna join or not. Heck if I know.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. He's a bit elusive, isn't he?
Yeah, it's pretty much.
So, how many Christmas stories do you have left?
Well, since I'm gonna work on the next, I will be about 10. I'm actually on the 4th store right now. Well,
Alright.
I started working on it. That's gonna take a long while.
Well, tell him F isn't so bad. Also, you sound tired.
Tired? Yeah, that's an understatement. I've been tired all day. I mean, I get tired when I even do nothing at all. No, but having not be able to do the occasional stream is easy, understandable, and now you get tired. It's always more fun and more excitement to do this, but it's not wondering people just avoiding those.
No, that's definitely not true. I mean, again, here's the thing. Today's the day after Thanksgiving, so like I said, like an hour before or whatever, they're probably just cleaning up after whatever thing they did for Thanksgiving. And I mean, Malachi just got online, so that's his reasoning, but yeah. That's the best explanation I've got. Doesn't mean it's true. Probably not. Who knows, though? Am I right, Swedish?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Hmm. Let's see here. Alright, this is here. This is that.
Oh, I'm getting bored. More bored than
Bother,
usual.
man. I could pull up the randomizer, but I don't know if you're gonna end the stream soon or whatever.
Yeah, I might end the stream soon anyway, so I just.
Alright.
So, where is your brother also, anyways?
Well, it could probably take a while to guess where Roy is. And Dylan, I think, is at Dad's right now.
Probably sleeping or something.
Yeah, probably. He sleeps a lot more than I do, so. Well, I guess really Roy, because I don't sleep during the day, but know what I mean. Come on, technology, work with me here. Hmm.
So, any plans for the rest of the weekend?
Not honestly. I might go to Dad's on Sunday, but other than that, I got nothing.
Yeah, I have no idea. What about the rest of the week or the weekend?
I don't know. I want to know what that is. Hmm. There's that feeling of forgetting something again. I always have it. It's ridiculous. Hmm.
Well, I'm bored.
Look at this. Hi, board. I'm gonna know. I'm just being extra random. I don't know.
Well, ha ha
This
ha.
is apparently extra random. Who knows? Who knows? I don't even know.
Have you ever had any pizza that's a little bit too salty?
Huh?
Have you ever had any pizza that was more salty than usual?
I've had pizza that's been sweet before, but never salty.
Well, we had a pizza yesterday as for dinner, which my dad ordered. It's a was a little bit too salty, to be honest. Even my parents said the same thing. That was actually what my mom who pointed out that was a bit too salty in the flavor. And I agreed. Even cold, the pizza was later today, which I had for lunch, it was still a bit salty flavor. It was probably shrimps.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I really have no idea, but it's just
I have no idea why nobody showed up. Well, I guess Malachi was doing something, but I don't know why no one else showed up.
Well, yeah, Dashi, the link didn't work from on Facebook, and he did try on Discord, but I said just cancel the Gagel stream entirely. And I did no doubt send a message to one of the twin brothers, but eventually, since no response, so I removed that message. And that same thing for Cody Lane, same thing. He didn't respond back, so I just removed it.
Hmm.
And so Dashi, I don't think he will even would show up eventually, since Lord is one of the people that hasn't rarely been in one of my streams also.
For a second, I thought Lord joined. I thought you said that, like,
Oh,
Lord, I can't believe you're here.
I was like, oh Lord, the Savior is showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. Well, I'm going to end the stream in a few minutes after the range reach 11 o'clock. So,
All right.
so anything else happened today?
Not really.
Same. After I had my lunch, I went out with my parents for the dog for the walk, and walked the dog, and it was a bit cold and it started snowing, but not much though. But other than that, I really haven't done much. After just finishing off the one of the stories I worked on, from the Christmas stories, and that's just great. I just hope I can pull it off before December even starts. If not, well, I just simply will put them for Christmas Eve instead. But that's gonna be pain in the butt. But who knows?
Hmm. Ay. Why is this computer being so weird right now?
What's been weird?
This friggin' piece of technology.
As always.
My mouse just is not cooperating with me right now. I don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
Browser results. See, what the heck am I looking at here?
I think last time you said your brother said something. You have some. If you had any questions for my upcoming Q&A video.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. That. We were I don't remember if I did, but Roy I think did. But he's been so focused on the Would You Rather thing we're working on that he kind of forgot.
Yeah, that's okay though. I mean, I have over 30 plus questions already. Plus, I have your old questions from supposed to be the last time, but
I could probably come up with more after after Roy and Dylan finishes their questions anyway. I gotta help them with that. Well, Dylan, I'm gonna help out on Sunday, but when Roy shows up,
it's possible.
they've still only got 5 left at least. So
Yeah, you have at least one another week. Can help with some questions for my Q&A. That's since it was until December 2nd, the most last day, but I would fall maybe extend it for 1 or 2 more weeks, but I might just do it end it on December 3rd or something.
all right. How many days are in November? 30th? 30? Is it 30? Hold on a sec. Yeah, it's 30.
31. 31.
All right. Wait, did you say 31?
Yep.
But my calendar says 30.
For me, it says 41. December.
I said November.
Oh,
So
November. That's 30.
I was gonna say for a second, do you have a month that has an extra day? And I don't? That's so weird. Uh, that would be a little wild.
Well, this only happened once in my country. We had February 30th.
Oh yeah. That only happens in leap years, I'm pretty sure.
February 29.
Here, that's
Well,
how it works.
actually, there is only
Sorta.
29. There is only 29 days in February ever all over the world, including my country. But it used to be 30 days only once. And it was a bit before my time.
Because I don't know. Time.
Yeah. This was only it was about 311 years ago. That was only around 1712.
Day.
Yeah. I think it even had a different name. Let's see here. Nope. Can't find it. What is the name of it? But who cares? Okay. You need the same. You need the same December or December is the name of the 13th month of the calendar that only has 12 months. Similar, what the? Dual December is similar to the 14th month, and the Tri-December is the only name of the 15th month.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what. This is actually first I ever heard of this.
Those months don't exist though.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I know that some countries in the world don't go into the same year. North Korean calendar, they actually have the year 112, and the Jewish calendar is around right now is about 5,783.
Dang, those guys are really in the future.
Yep. Um, Thailand's calendar is around 2,566, and Nango, Japan, or Raiva era is year 5. When a new era, a new emperor in Japan, they always start from the year 1. So we see here. Let's see here. Assyrian calendar is the year 6,773. Halcyon calendar is the year 12,023. But otherwise would have been something. Let's see here. This particular year for my countries there were two important parts. June 6th, we celebrated my country's 500 years anniversary when Gustav I, or Gustav Vasa, what his name is, was crowned the king. September 15 was the 50 years anniversary of the current king's when he ascended to the throne. He is the first king that's ever since been for 50 years. The previous one that held the record was 44 years, and he ascended the throne when he was only 3 years old, I think. Let's go see here. Come on, where are you? Where are you? Come on. What the heck? Man. No, I don't think I can find it, but yeah, he was the first person to actually held the record was only about 3 years old. But I do believe he had some guardianship before otherwise. I mean, a 3-year-old cannot even who can talk or write can't make any decisions. There is a similar um, part of the royal house, a different royal house family, since Sweden have multiple different royal houses over the years. One um, was one king. There we go. One particular king, when he was supposed, uh, when he when he died, he had only let's see, um, he had 3 kids at the time. What? Come on. Here we go. Um, Gustavus Adolphus, or in other known as Gustav the Adolf, as Gustav the Second Adolf. He had a daughter. Um, she was elected to be the next queen, but she was only 6 years old when he died. So she was way too young for even to stand the throne legally. So they made a council in order to well to rule the country while she is old enough. She had a guardian that taught her all kinds of things. And well, if I remember correctly, this particular council they didn't want to let over the power to her. And eventually, when she was the queen of the country, well, let's say they were wanted to have her to get married to have a king and eventually to have an heir to the throne. They asked her if she wanted to marry one of her male cousins, but she refused, and she left the country and stepped down the throne. And she actually was she reformed herself from Protestantic Protestantism to Catholicism. She moved to Rome, where she remained of her old years. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a it's a long story of those people and his rural families. There is, of course, there's not always been rivalry between so many other previous Swedish royal houses. There were actually one particular king, uh, Charles XIII was his name. Um, he was the last king of his royal family um, by blood. Um, when he died, he um, he wanted to have an heir to the throne, but since he didn't have any kids of his own, so at first he went down to Denmark to ask their crown prince if he was willing to be adopted by him and be the next king on the throne, and accepted. But fortunately, he died in a riding accident just before it happened. So the king he decided to ask another man. He was actually a marshal. I think of a marshal or general in Napoleon's army. His name was John Bernadotte, and he was later adopted by the Kurdat king, and he eventually took over the throne. And he took the name Charles the 14th. Uh, wait, Charles 14 John. Um, he was during the time of his ruling. This is actual fact. He sometimes during the winters he actually had his ministers in his personal bedroom at the castle because he ruled the country from the in his bed during the winter. The reason was he didn't like the cold. So that was often called as the bedroom uh, government. It was pretty epic. Of course, he was actually marshal of Napoleon's army, and it's well, the family has always been is still continuing ruling it as today for over 200 years, I believe it is. Let's see, 2023, 1818, so about 2.5 years. And if the current king decides to step down, his daughter will be the next in line. The thing is, she was the firstborn, but his firstborn son would have been the next king. But the rule was changed. Sweden's king, actually, the Swedish government did change their rule was around 1980, a year after the king's firstborn son was born. So instead for him, his oldest daughter will be the next queen. And in fact, she will be the first queen in over a century. Well, that depends when it will happen. I mean, the king has ruled over 50 years by now, and so and he has no plans of stepping down on the throne as long as he lives. So that's uh, I would not be surprised if he doing the same thing as Elizabeth II. She ruled the country for many years. She was in her, I believe she was 96 years old when she died, and her son Charles III is in his 70s. So if that happened with our king, he decided to rule until he's in his 80s or 90s, and his daughter is now in her 40s. She might simply be in her 60s or maybe 70 years old when uh, when the current king either dies or voluntarily is stepping down. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Yeah, I mean, look at the Charles III when his mother passed away early this year, last year. He's in his 70s, and he had been waiting for being the next king for many years, but it took him this long. And I know for a fact there is one ruler, um, Pepe II. He was actually a pharaoh. He ruled ancient Egypt for 90 years, so almost a century. So think about that. I mean, if I would have been a king over one country, I would not rule for until I'm like 60 or even 80 years old. I would like to rule my country to a certain age until my daughter or son is in their maybe early 20s. So they would at least been old enough. So they also been get some experience to how to be to handle some royal matters and even diplomatic meetings with other diplomats and all that. Being putting someone on the front which has no experience of any diplomatic missions or how to handle diplomatic talks and something like that, or even just or meet other, you know, delegates from presidents, kings, or basically anyone like that, it would have been a very bad mistake. Eventually, they could have been leading to a lot of mistakes. You know, in my country, in the current royal family, it's only one member that has only positive comments of the whole public, and that's the crown princess. The king, the queen, and the other, and the crown prince, and the prince and his other daughter, there's always been some negative comments about them, especially his second daughter, Madeline. Well, let's say this this actually did happen. She was driving in a bus line in Stockholm, which is not allowed. When she was caught, she said she had immunity and she can do whatever she want to do, but the fact is she can't. Only the king has immunity. So if the queen would do something such that she would even have to get away with it. If the king were to drive over 10 times the speed limit, he would get no tickets. If he were doing drugs in the middle of public, like cocaine or something, he would get nothing. If he smokes cannabis or marijuana in public, he would even get nothing about it. No punishment. And if he had to pay a certain amount of money for taxes, but the rest of the money he has, he can do anything one of it. If you want to buy a whole freaking plane, or if you want to buy 10 cruise ships, he can do that without any provocation. And that's just a problem. It's if the king would have, say, run over someone by a car and killed a person, normally a person would get arrested. He wouldn't. But if that came out in the public what the king done and the people knows, otherwise the king wouldn't be prosecuted by any sort of crime what he did. But they probably would have demanded some sort of punishment because killing a person is one thing. Doing it others like speed, you're getting a speed tickets or anything. Just imagine like that if you had your country's leader do anything so hope he can do anything like he can even go around shooting people without even getting a provocation. If that happened, the country's general public would be outraged. which makes sense. And but so far, the king hasn't done anything like that in my country, though. Just um, his second daughter actually did marry American not that long, only about a few years ago. I think his name was Chris O'Neill. You know, in the past, a royalty weren't allowed to marry any commoner. If you did, you would have been disowned and thrown out of the royal family. You can even you can even take over the throne if you would. But these days, now, like in my country, crown princess, she did marry just a common person and still on the throne, and it's still in the family. But Japan's royal family is a different matter. One of the members did marry a commoner. She was had to give up. She had to give up her princess title, and she was no longer part of the imperial family. So that is hard, tough feels. Being married with someone that's not a noble or anything like that in an imperial family, Japan, you may just simply losing your royal title and you no longer be part of the family. Not even your own kids would, even her kids would even be part of the family. They would even be able to own the throne. I mean, think about it. If that princess did eventually, if she did that and she had a son and the rest of the family didn't even have any, if the current royal family didn't have any, or the imperial family, if the current emperor, if he didn't have any sons and he eventually would pass away and he and his wife were too old to have any other kids, and they would eventually go to other members in the family like brothers, cousins, nephews. But if there aren't any other male relatives alive except for the current emperor's um, daughter, who would former princess, which has a son. Imagine how they find out she has a son, but the problem is she's no longer part of the imperial family. So, how they solve the problem? Well, they had to do something about the law because that is the law. If it happens, if a royal family, in one of the imperial family marries someone from a commoner, they will eventually lose the title and lose the member of part of the family, unless the government would have to change the law so that a former member could return in a part of the family and inherit the throne. But only males can inherit the throne. So if the emperor would die, even if he had only daughters, they wouldn't inherit the throne unless they themselves have a son on their own with someone they accept or something like that. But otherwise, they would not be inherit the throne. Sweden in the past only had males certain times that were only be next in line. But nowadays, these days, there are many countries in the world. In fact, in fact, Sweden was the first country in the world, at least in the Western world, that actually adopted this system, allowing males and females members in the family can inherit the throne, even if they're a distant cousin or even nephew or grandson or great great nephew or something like that. Even Sweden's king also has the right to take over the throne in England. And how's that even possible? Well, many other royal families in Europe is actually related on many different ways. It's the answer is quite easy. Why it's possible is because in the distant past, medieval times, it was very common practice to royal families to marry other into other royal houses in Europe to build alliances against in case if there would be any wars and as a way to maintain peace. For example, let's say if at the time England and France they were enemies at one point. So if the King of England were married a daughter of the um, a French princess. It would make peace between them. So many royal houses in Europe is actually related in many different ways. It can be uh, distant cousins, uncles, nephews, you name it. So Sweden's king and the rest of the royal family can actually inherit the throne in England as well. But it's not possible like right away because England, as many other countries, has this section list order in it, which is a list of people in order from number 1 to 2 and 3 on and onwards that will have which has the light on the ranks, which is the on the list that will give them the right to own the step on the throne. But the current king of Sweden, he's on the list way down. He's on the list of around 200 or something. But only thing is, the only one in the royal family of Sweden that cannot own the throne is the queen, since she's not married. She's married in the family, so she's not part of the blood by the family by blood. So she's not only one that cannot be inherit England's throne, but it's a very unlikely the king would that. I mean, consider that he is way down on the list, since they always going the first and the second and the third on the list. There were there were actually one historian that believes that Sweden will eventually eventually give up this monarchy. There were some talks believing within the next 30 or 40 years, the current crown prince Victoria's daughter Estelle will be the last queen of Sweden, as they believe at least, and that after that it will be a republic. But it's only what they believe at least. But if it's going to be like that, who knows? I mean, right now there's about 44 to 43 countries in the world that is monarch. Some are absolute monarchy, which means the king or queen has the absolute power all over the government. Others like mine, they don't have no power at all. They only have this summarial role, meaning they're just a public figure, like a if they are like a just they're just on the like making the face of the Sweden. That's it. The king did lose that type of power over a century ago. I believe it was around 1809 or 10 when we lost the war against Russia, which we did lose. Finland at the time would have been part of Sweden's population as for over, I think, almost 500 years. So imagine that, like being losing part of the country to someone else. It's like, I mean, it has been like if United States would eventually lose Alaska back to Russia, or maybe to Canada. There were at least one time California was actually considered to leave the Union and become as an independent state. Well, Texas, for once, were as independent kingdom or republic, but it was only for a short time. And look who's showing it! Finally show up. Your friend,
Oh,
Mr.
retro.
Right. Yep.
Charging? Yeah, my thing's charging. Hey, what's up?
You
What's up, dude?
are.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, we can barely hear you.
Hello, you guys?
Hello. I can hear him fine. Oh, well, no, you can't.
Hey, power off.
Okay, that happened.
I'm so confused. Bye, Retro.
I don't even know what happened there, but okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
Now what?
Mm. Well, we passed the 2 hours mark, so I might just simply end the stream here soon enough.
All right.
Well, there has been, well, I wouldn't say excited stream. It just,
Yeah, but it was just a nice little chill stream. I
mm,
think.
well, hopefully your brothers can be there here tomorrow next to the first Would You Rather stream, which is gonna be my newest type of stream series after game show streams, and it will be my first I will do, and but this was sort of as your fault doing this every Saturday. Um, yeah, I might not even do every Saturday. It just
I didn't really mean
you know,
like every Saturday. It was just like every
yeah.
other Saturday.
Otherwise, there would have been that you had to come up with tons of different those. It's not easy. And right to race back.
Guys, I'm so sorry. My audio was off the chain, so I had to power off the power my phone.
Special.
Yeah, my software. That was Can you guys hear me?
Offers for we obey the Wisconsin.
I don't even know.
I have no idea what actually happened there.
Like I said, sorry if I didn't come in yet. I was working on my millionaire card since I was on the thingy, my bobber.
Yeah. It's actually Malachite who's been watching this. I suspected that from the start. But yeah, it's something I have to think of. But for those, would you rather? Well, I think maybe once a month or so. Just at first to see if there's how it would been. I think maybe if we do it for maybe just once a month or see for a while to see how people responded to that type of new streams. I mean, just look at when we first started Game Show streams. That in the beginning there was just people maybe didn't think that's gonna be something long lasted, but it has so far. And would you rather? Well, might be possible they can be a long term series as well. And I really would hope that if Malachite can do his own, I mean, not like right now or anything, but when he feel up for it, and I would say it could be around 80 or 90 questions would you rather as a topic, since so far I had done two full of 90, and I'm currently working on the third one, which up to is right now about 32 or 34 questions. So as his game guy and his brothers are working on their own, it's only like what 5 questions left. So if Malachite wants to make his own, it's of course his choice if he wanted to do that, and if he wanted to do, he can always do. If he felt for doing just 70 or 90, I think originally I was the first one I was made was had around 102 questions, but I thought 100 maybe might be too many or something. I just don't know.
Hmm.
But I would say for the start, I think 80 or 90 is a good number to start with. Considering that my Gator streams had around 80 plus questions normally. So I think, and since just seeing how many people actually responded to 80 questions was probably good set of number of questions. Oh, well, a few times we had over 100. So, but I don't think, would you rather to have around 200 questions? It's out of question of that. Not a pun intended though. Um, but yeah, the 200 of Would You Rather would not be part of it. I think it's too much. I would say maybe
Yeah.
100. I would say maybe 100. That was probably would be total max. But otherwise, 80 or 90. And like I said, if Malachi want to make his own, it's up to him. If Cody the draw Dark Hog, or if Lord want to make his own, it's up to them. I mean, if they really want to do that, and yeah, it just you know. But for now, at least, I want to see how the others would respond to this new Would You Rather series. Considering that when we first started the Gator streams, there were probably some of our friends that wondered if it's gonna be fun, or it's gonna be boring, or if it's just gonna be in just a short temporarily type of series or something. And I actually glad that they lasted for this long, and that you, Malachite, Lord have been in the host so far. And I thought, why not to do this new type of series? After all, Kuvu did that a few times on his channel, even though it was not PG-13 type of questions. And some of my I've done are basically just PG-13. It doesn't involve nothing that involves uh, crimes, like doing a crime or anything that would you behind put you behind bars. Nothing like that. They're most like mostly a dare type of would you rather do question. Like say if you were if if I say if I put if I like say dare Malachi to stay in a haunted house for over a weekend, if it's a full of ghosts, if he will do that, he will get say I don't know maybe 50,000 or say. Would you rather be staying in a house full of ghosts for 50,000 as a dare, or would you rather stay in a house full of vampires for a whole week for 100,000, for example?
Hmm.
And they mostly are, well, I would say insane dare questions. Like I think was one of their um like if you were jumping, bungee jumping or something like that. But I should mention right now, some of them are actually also involved about dating. I mean, like just normal dating, like it can be certain characters from Marvel Adventures or anything, or if you would also some of the questions that involves also if you would marry that particular character. Of course, it's always female characters. I would like say I would even say like the if you were if I say if I get like a if you would rather marry Batman or would you rather marry Hulk, for example, like I was like, if someone asked me, well, that's easy. Batman. It's because Hulk, normally he is very outraged when he's anger, and Batman is more intelligent and at least more, well, calm in different situations. So, but there mostly is some just dares. Of course, most of the how many, uh, if you were doing this type of dare challenge for a certain amount of money, and if you date a particular person or you would do this type of things also. And it's mostly just harmless dares. Of course, I know that you wouldn't do anything like this, those things for real. It's just like say, um, I think some of the questions were, would you rather be in a dark room, locked room, watching a horror movie alone for a certain amount of money, and or if you would rather be watching a horror movie in a locked room with Pennywise and Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger for a large amount of money. Of course, they wouldn't even attack you or anything, just being sitting next to you watching the movie. And there are a number of questions where, um, would you rather live neighbor with certain type of characters? Say if you were living neighbor with say uh, Chewbacca, or you were living next door to Darth Sidious or anything like that. I did also put some questions like if you're rather being a roommate with certain characters, which includes some Star Wars character like Chewbacca, R2D2, some of those. I think. Of course, I believe it was one or two questions or more. If you rather been if you rather had one of those characters, male character as your father. I mean, I don't know if you, I don't remember which one of those characters was. Like you say, like I would like, I mean, like if the question was focusing like on Malachi, would you rather have, um, say, would you rather have Indiana Jones as a father, or if you're a Star Wars character, I was like, would you rather have Count Dooku as a father, or would you rather have Chewbacca as a father? I would say personally Chewbacca, not because he is like a Jedi or a Bigfoot, but at least he is a good guy. And though even Count Dooku is a Sith, but at least he looks more like a normal human, unlike Mister Plumface, aka Darth Sidious. So, but I'm pretty sure I kind of love some of those questions when it comes to Star Wars. Uh, um, I just don't remember how many, but I will currently be working on the fourth Christmas story since I just finished my third earlier today, and I will also work on the 23rd cryptid quiz. I'm so far done 23 of those. Just a bit heads up, I actually made one quiz of cryptids, a long one. Let's see, how many questions was that one? Whoop, come on, come on, come on. It was total of ah, give me a second. Here we go. Let's see here. Nope. What the? Nope. 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 Uh, this is just weird. 246 in that one. But that one won't be for a while since we did one long one. Um, yeah, pretty much all I can think of right now. Malachi said something that he wanted to do for the Christmas quiz about movies that he has seen. Um, You know, that stream won't be on October, not October, but December 24th or 25th. Reason 25th is for you guys to celebrate your Christmas. 24th when I celebrate Christmas, and it will be a total busy day. So 23rd is the most likely to be, since I don't have any work that time of the week, time that week of the year. 23rd will be on a Saturday, but since you all know, Malachite usually don't have any time for Saturdays, so maybe 22nd. Either 22nd or 23rd. Out of the 2 days. So, yeah, we will see how things will turn out. That if Malachite B will finish his quiz, but he don't have to rush in to do it right now though. But he can take his time. Still over a month away to Christmas. So, yeah. And maybe next after this supposed MLP quiz today, actually. Bomber, it never happened. Second week in a row. Yeah, maybe sometimes in December we can do Murder She Wrote that I made. And just saying right now, that one is over 100, not 200 or anything close to that. It's about 118, and I'm not going even further than that on that. But I'm not sure if I will do a second Murder She Wrote since well, I mean not this year though. Just maybe it's just early next year at most.
All
I
right, sounds
hope we
good.
can. I hope we can do this Norse mythology questions. I'm very curious to see how much you guys know about Norse mythology. And that is only 81 questions. But most of the questions that I have for others are around. Um, I do have two questions as based on the two movies that I've seen. The Postman with Kevin Costner as the main character has 75 question, and of course a movie that even Malachite knows.
Malika says, I might not do that subject, but I might. Wait, what? I might not do that subject. I might not do a quiz before Christmas because I'm honestly not sure what subject to do. Maybe we could have a normal early Christmas stream.
Yeah, probably. Who
And I
knows?
can't talk.
Yeah, and this other second movie quiz that I still have is that something that Malachite knows? Battlefield Earth, which is based on a book, actually. It's only difference that I do think that they made some changes of in the movie based on the book still, but this particular quiz has 72 questions. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to figure out questions based on it from a movie, but I only do quiz from a movie that I have seen, or at least a movie that can also be have easy access to be watching. Like say, Malakat said some suggest a movie that was from The Mummy, I believe it was the from the 30s, and I would if I mean if I could find a movie online somewhere for free to watch, I wouldn't mind. But if I don't have access to see that particular movie, I won't be able to do the quiz because without knowing what's actually happening in the movie, I wouldn't be able to do any much questions. I mean, I know, like say, without knowing was, let's say, if the mummy was asleep or he was undead for centuries, why he was like in the 1998 movie of the mummy, he was put in this coffin or sarcophagus after being eaten alive by scarabaeus, those beetles. Those beetles do in fact exist in real life, but they're not flesh-eating bugs as in the movie. Just saying it. So that movie I've seen a number of times. So at least that I could do a quiz based on. I could do only quiz based on a movie that's um, not that I have not seen. Even if I only heard about the movie but not have seen it, it's not like I can be just doing questions. And if I do, what if I do questions that not even happen in the movie or they were based on the wrong character do it? And if it's like if I do one movie quiz based on a movie that I only heard of, and suddenly if one of you guys actually see the movie and you point out that is wrong event or there was right event but the wrong character was involved in it. So that would make sense. So I'll only do quiz based on movies that I have seen personally. And some of the movies are really I do in fact have a number of I think over I think over 12 or 13 bookmarks on my computer based on movies that I have seen in for the past several years. And of course, they're only mainly sci-fi, comedy, uh, romance, maybe, but no much horror movies. Mainly because Game Guy can't stand much of blood, and he can probably. I don't know if you guys can even handle mentioning scenes of where blood were part of it. Can you?
I mean, the thing is, mentioning blood is one thing because it's like you're describing something, but seeing it is where I'm just, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. So, but it comes to horror movies. Well, I could do is like say, since Eddie Murphy, he was part of a horror comedy type of movie, The Haunted Mansion. That is one thing I can do. As long as it's like a family horror comedy movie, which is perfect fine. As long as it isn't really too scary, like a let's say Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween, for example. Even though, okay, I don't know if you guys have actually seen Halloween minus Game Guy. Um, the last Halloween movies in the franchise, Halloween Ends. I can say this right now. That is the absolute final movie they ever will do because they finally killed Michael Myers. They shredded his body in industrial shredder. It's like, yeah, he was stabbed a few times, and well, let's say by seeing his own skull being smashed into pieces, like a
I
cracking,
visualize these things.
like crack like an open egg, blood spread all over the place. So I was surprised they actually put it all that. But yeah, so basically, movies that I've seen can be comedy mostly. Let's I can see where most more they are. Uh, well, they're mostly comedy, sci-fi. Well, I can say right now, one of the movies are Doom, based on the video game, and this is a movie that Game Guy cannot watch. It involves blood, literally. Oh, but it's a one movie that you guys are really familiar with. Space Jam. That is one movie I really would do as a quiz. Home Alone, I will definitely do one, two, and three, but the other ones, no. Reason? I haven't seen them. So, and I was considered to do Back to the Future. Um, I also found at least one zombie movie, but I don't know at the moment if I will ever do it. Um, Jason X, the last final movie of Jason Voorhees. Um, The Omen. That's it's a horror movie that do in fact has some blood parts in it. You can actually see that movie on even on YouTube. Trust me, first time I saw it, I was pretty scared. I'm not joking. I was scared. I was like, um, I was even probably, I'll say 13, 14 maybe, or maybe around that age. Um, huh. Who cannot forget this classical movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Now
Now
that's a
that's
movie
a
that
good movie.
definitely a good movie, and that is only a few movies that really could actually work between CGI and live action. Most other movies, not really, but this one was, even though it wasn't actually like CGI, but more like cartoon CGI version, but just they really hit the nail on that one. Um, Thanksgiving, um, Monkey Trouble. Oh, Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, which is an unofficial sequel to Pinocchio. Same thing as for that was actually made the same company that made the unofficial sequel of Snow White, Happily Ever After. Same company which no longer exists.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Not much.
Hey, you can finally hear you. Hooray!
Yeah, because things got quiet around here. So, you guys, something I have to tell you. Um, recently, what happened was my old group home mom got really sick due to all the stress that she had, and she ended up going to the hospital. And we all had to go our separate ways.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah, all of us had to leave her group home because she got stressed out and went to the hospital and she couldn't take it anymore. But Sony, my mom said it's not my fault. It's the stress that she had.
Oh my god. I had 7.
But Swedish, I want to say the community's amazing. And oh, and Game
Hmm?
Guy, by the way, I'm gonna tell you, Swedish, your community's awesome.
Thanks.
Oh, and Game Guy, another thing, Game Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? For when I get my check, I'm gonna get me another Nintendo DS Lite because the white one that I had does not charge anymore. I'm buying a DS Lite. If I have enough, I'm gonna buy a Game Boy Advance SP.
Good game, though.
Huh.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance SP was a really good system. I love that system. That 32-bit handheld is my favorite. And on top of that, I remember when I had I remember when I got my first Game Boy. First games I got were Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Those games on the Game Boy Advance, and let's just say things are never the same because I had to go on the internet and look up game facts and all that other stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you two alone right now.
All right.
Huh?
Well, I probably should end here soon.
All
But
right.
yeah, so but like I said, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and um a few other movies that I um I thought of doing even a few of Scooby Doo. Some that was made from cartoon version, and maybe one of the live action movies. Not the first one they made, but they were completely not good. Um, oh, who can forget this classical comedy movie, Ted? That's just great
Oh
fun.
yeah, great
They were
movie.
even. That's actually. I wonder if the TV series is still in the development. They were actually
Hmm.
working on a TV series based on that, but I'm not so sure if they still are. Um, One movie that I are thinking of doing as a quest based on is Poltergeist. And Wally is one of them. Flintstones. What else? Well, this was only a part of the story quest I found, but I found out several. Hellboy 1 and 2, but not the remake. It's because I haven't seen it yet, so. Well, I will try to figure out if I can find more, um, you know, movies I can do. Just try to remember it from the ones I have seen in the past, as long as they're not too scary. Maybe I can do of an anime, which, hey, I'm not an anime guy, aka game guy. Am I right?
Yep.
I mean, you may probably. I mean, if I seen or maybe heard of it, at least that um, gay show, though. I mean, by the name at least. You know, there is One Piece. I haven't really seen the original series or even read the mangas of those. Though, although I actually, but only not recently, discovered they made a live action version of One Piece as a series, and it's actual Netflix right now. I do wonder if it's actually is even going to be as good as they both the first series is. They actually even made two movies based on another anime, Attack on Titans. Based on one scene of the original series, and it's not good, not good at all. The original first Titan, well, let's say she had $3 with the king of that particular country there in the in the series. I cannot even pronounce the name, but when she died, her daughters they didn't inherit the ability to turn into titans. The only way for a person to be turned into titan, this is way too graphic and too horrific to even to imagine. Just saying right now. And also, game guy, this will involve blood,
Mm.
and I will try to describe it as less as possible. But basically, what happened, the king, after his wife, former slave, died, he took her body, have the chef prepare her body for being eaten raw. He forced his daughters to eat their own mother's spinal cord, especially the spinal fluid, in order to gain the power of titans, and told them to have multiple children, like more than 10, and do the same thing as when they die, their children would have to eat their spinal fluids, and they had to repeat the same cycle over and over in order to get the power of being Titan. And those, when they're Titan, well, the size is various. somewhere between 40, 50, or 60 feet tall. Normally, a person or any biological creature cannot even be that tall at all. And but basically, they did that in order to get as the power of being a titan. I assume maybe in the past that they would have to just the power or the ability would have been passed down genetically already from one to another. But this this way, but they literally had to been eating a person's um, spinal fluid in order to gain the power. Um, that was a little too graphic even for my standards, but they even made a live action movie or movies based on that series. I only seen a few clips from one of the movies, and I'll tell you, it's not good, not good at all. It's the only weak spot on the Titan is behind their neck. Quite literally, in their neck is the only soft spot. And in a live action movie, one of the soldiers of the human survivors, or at least the one that they have built giant walls in order to keep those titans out. But they eventually managed to get in. And one of the guys that survived had one of his arms and one of his legs. I don't know if they were just literally bitten off, if they grabbed him and bite those off from him, or if they ripped them off. I don't know. But when that happened, that titan swallowed him, and he himself turned into a titan. But after that particular titan died, his original body somehow was, I'll say, flushed out of the remains. Plot twist: his missing arm and leg had been restored. It had been generated. And how that's even possible? No idea. But the original series is not good at much. I've seen only clips from it, and it was not even that good. One Piece, not really, not my type of. That's just a pirate type of series. Same thing as when it comes to My Hero Academia. I did see that a few episodes of that series, but yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea, if you say it. But there are a few others anime I really didn't see much. But one I do absolutely not recommend for Game Guy to even watch, even if he was fan of anime or even just started to like them, and that is Corpse Party. It literally involves a lot of blood and rotting corpse. So go Corpse Party. First time when I saw it, I could barely get any sleep. And I saw that series about what was it 2 3 years ago. I could barely get any sleep when I saw Corpse Party at all. And it takes a lot these days to even just scare me from just horror movies. And frankly, to be telling, when I saw one of the many of the movies of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that movie that I saw, it wasn't even on the what. It was absolutely bad. It was just not even good at all. And considering Leatherface is considered a classical cult horror movies, along with Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and many others. I haven't seen none of those movies. Well, except for one. Jason Voorhees, Friday 13, I only saw one. The last one he made, Jason X. Oh boy, I don't tell you, that movie was ball S. Like complete BS movie. they finally kill him off by throwing him in low orbit of the planet. Otherwise, if they had to kill someone, they try to stab him, try to shoot him, try to put on fire, but no effect at all. He survived all of that. Well, the only thing that did stop him when he was put in frozen, when he froze into liquid nitrogen, but he could survive from that as well. But it was just. Anyways, I probably should end the stream here. But it's past 3 hour mark already, so.
Hmm.
So yeah. So next time, maybe tomorrow will be the first Would You Rather stream, and we're really looking forward to see how that will turn out. And you can talk to your brothers if they will be there, if it's just one or both of them.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, everyone, this has been an interesting stream. Not much excitement, just normal, typical bored, sleeping stream. And hasn't been much. I mean, if I have known that most people would even be able to show up, I would have probably asked Game Guy to set up the randomizer way earlier on.
Oh well.
Maybe next time though. Well, everyone, this has been good stream for well, part of it.
Yep.
And it's not gonna be any super millionaire since Malachite is currently working on some of the new quizzes for that. So yeah, so I will be just being on Discord and for most part. So see ya. This is Fish signing off. Bye.
And goodbye.